What's up everyone and welcome to the club. In today's video I'm going to show you a simple method on how to draw an apple. Welcome everyone to the first Cartooning Club Focus channel tutorial. For this lesson we'll need a small sketch pad and a pencil, and my go-to pencil for most of my tutorials is a 2B pencil, but you're welcome to use whatever you like. Let's bring up the target drawing for today's lesson. Now you want to start off by focusing just on the basic shape of our subject. So we're going to start in the center of the page and sketch out a circle. Starting from the very top, just going to lightly work our way around. And you can see that the apple in our target image isn't perfectly round. We can just go back and just smooth this out as best we can. Now you use this circle to define the actual shape of the apple. So it's wider along the top and narrower across the base. So let's start at the top of our circle. It's going to bend this out. Just slightly bringing it down along the side. Round up the sides and then pull that back in. So it's wider along the top. Now right in the top here, it's going to add a small oval. And this is where we're going to place the stem. Let's go to the center. Now the stem just angles up and out towards the left. And we have this little leaf. So we're going to step up, curve this up, and then out across the center of the leaf. Now let's define the shape of the leaf. We're going to go up higher, and then bring that down, and go across the bottom. Coming down, and then in. Let's pull the apple in across the bottom. So we come down. Let's make this a little bit longer. Across the bottom. And just flatten that off with a slight curve. Go back to smooth this out. Now that we have the basic shape of our apple, I'm going to go back and erase some of the underlying guidelines. So taking out most of that circle underneath. Now once we clean up our drawing, I'm going to go back and add a second level of detail. Let's start with that fold across the top of the apple. So just looking at our target image, just bring this up and out. Now this goes up toward the top of the apple and out towards the right side. Now on the left side, we're just going to bend this up and then out. Let's add some thickness to that stem, starting with the left side, and it gets wider across the top. So we're just observing the shapes of the apple. So that stem is wider along the top. Now I can go back and just lightly shade that in, just to make it a little bit darker. Now let's redefine that leaf. Again, the stem is a little bit wider. And then along the outside edge, I'm just going to add these little ripples. Almost like these little points going out. Do the same thing across the bottom. You see that sort of bends up. A couple folds going out. Now I'm going to come back and add those veins inside after. Let's go to the back side of the apple. So we're just looking at the silhouette going all the way around. Add that little bump on the back side, just tucking that in. Now I'm just going to smooth out the side of the apple. Now you can see that I'm just using these short, sketchy lines. I'm not trying to draw this with one continuous line. That'll make it very difficult to draw. And there's 3 little bumps across the bottom. So this is all about observation, just observing the shapes and the silhouettes that our subject creates. I'm going to go back and do another cleanup. Now at this stage of my drawing, I'm going to turn my focus to light and shadow and different tones of our subject. Now the lights come from the top left side of our page going across the apple, so the highlights will sit along the bottom edge and some reflective light coming across the bottom. So in this area you can see that there's a bit of a highlight, so it's going to lightly just sketch that out. Starting along the top, bending this down along the side, and going up. It almost looks like you can see the silhouette of a person sitting right here. So this is the head. There's also a highlight across this top edge. Just going to lightly trace that out, going across. You can see some reflection over on the right side. Just going to outline that here. Now you can see a slight difference between the darkness and the light reflection across the bottom. Just working our way across. So now this becomes the darkest area of the apple. So I'm going to move to the side edge of my pencil. Just going to darken that up, going around the highlights. And I'm going to go lighter as we come up towards the top. Now continue along the bottom. I'm just going to bring that down towards this seam, towards that transition area. And again, the area that I'm covering right now is going to become the darkest area of the apple. Now this is our base layer of shadow. We're going to come back and just modify this later with some darkness and light areas. Go around the outside and then fade that down. I'm also going to darken up that back side and then fade that out. Now along the bottom, I'm just going to darken up the bottom of the apple and then fade that up to that transition. Just using these vertical lines. And I want to go darker across the bottom. So this is where the shadows are going to sit. Just darken up this. We're just going to ground our apple. Darken this up on the contact point with the surface. And then fade that out. I'm going to go back and just darken up that center area, starting from the left side. I'm just going to work my way up, so the veins of the apple go up and down. So I'm just adding a little bit of texture, going across. Just add a little bit of a medium shade to the bottom of that highlight. Again, just working our way up to add that texture, and then fade that up. So we're just sort of blending this in across the bottom. And now we're going to do another pass. And we want to really focus on just balancing out our tones. So again, starting from the left side, just sort of stepping back and just taking an overall look, and then continuing. Now we really want to bring this area in the center right, a little bit darker. And by going a bit darker here, I'm going to add a little bit more shape and definition to our drawing. Just darken up the tones of that stem. You can see that I'm trying to use our light and shadow to define the shapes, rather than just relying on contours for this drawing. Go and just add a second level of detail on top. Let's add that medium tone to that leaf. So you can see that I like to start with the base first and start layering on the details after. This makes for an easier drawing process and more exact drawing of our subject. Just gonna add some light veins inside. As you get closer to finishing off our drawing, I'm just going to add a little bit more detail, and always be sure to sign my artwork. And that's pretty much it. There's a simple sketch illustration of an apple. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos each week, where I'll show you how to draw simple basic drawings just like this. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.